Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, Classic Last Known Classics. This is episode number 2577, double number 2471. I got some issues here of the Ghost Rider / Blade Spirits of Vengeance series, a Blade miniseries, and a couple Blade guest star spots. First of which, we'll talk about the Spirits of Vengeance book, issues 7 to 12. 13 I'm not going to discuss because I've discussed already as part of the Midnight Massacre crossover. I'm also not going to be discussing issues. Well, there are a few more issues I'm not going to discuss here. That when I get them. Yes, issues 15 through 18. Not going to discuss the issues because that's part of Seed of Darkness. Yep. So the first couple issues, mostly put in issue 7, we return Steel Vengeance and Steel Wind. And Mephisto. We also have a backup feature book featuring, by the way, both features written by Howard Mankey. It's just a solo story featuring Dan Ketch. That's mostly put exactly what it is, and it takes place after a feature in Marcom Presents. It takes a group known as the Feeders, who only appear just for this quick two-parter. And that's it. And this is weird, though, that Howard Mankey basically gave this book a backup feature. I don't know why, but that's basically what it is. And then basically by issue number... of course, they did with Return of Fist in these issues. Yeah, we deal with that. Go through the death. We're trying to get back to the Quinton Carnival. Then by issue 9, sadly, put Steel Vengeance is killed off here. Yep. Steel Vengeance is killed. And she gets sort of revived as another robot in the 2011 series by Rob Williams. After that, she's not been seen since then. As for Steel Wind, however, somebody might be curious though. Now, when she returned in this book, she basically returned in issue 7. And then basically returns the following issue. And then she's kind of part of this book a little bit afterwards. Which I was discussing more about her time in the book afterwards. But yeah, Steel Vengeance is gone. Yeah, she's dead. Yeah, she got killed by Centauros for failing to kill Johnny Blaze, because she failed, so she dies. Yep, though issue 9, however, is part of a two-part known as Carnival Death. Yeah, where it deals with basically Johnny Blaze and Dan Ketch's first encounter with Vengeance, Michael Bolito. Yes, that's basically what this two-parter is. It's their first encounter with him. And then pretty much after issue 10, now issue 10, they kill the character Eli Makar, who actually was a character appeared in this book. Yeah, recurring character, and he gets sadly killed off in the story. Yep, he only appeared in this one book. Never appeared ever again. Never resurrected, just gets killed off here. And then with issue number 11. 11 is a standalone issue where they take on a demon named Shalob, who appears, actually, it's a spider lady, who appears for 4 comics. In this issue here, but then she turns for a spin-off book for one character I'll discuss in the future. 12 is noteworthy for changing the logo. Yep. And fighting Vengeance again. Yeah. Basically, with issue 12, they changed the logo. And this remains... Now, here's the thing. This logo right here, this really cool logo right here, they've had this since issue 1. And then by issue 12 of this very book, they changed the logo to this. And it remains this logo for the rest of the series. Yep. These issues are, in fact, really good. Nothing bad here, per se. Howard Mankey does an excellent job with these issues. And I'm going to give issues 7 to 12 a 9 out of 10. Next up, we have is a couple Blade guest star spots. Yes, Blade guest star spots. Now, I want to be sure about this. Just be sure. This one? That wasn't that one. First up, we're going to the pages of Gambit. Yep, Gambit. I think so. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure I get this correct here. No, the Gambit issue. So first is Marvel Team Up. Gambit comes next. First is the Marvel Team issue because I thought the Gambit issue came first. No, it's Marvel Team Up. Marvel Team Up, volume number 7. Yeah, I'm reviewing this one early because the only reason I'm reviewing this is because Blade is here. There's the only reason why. And this actually was his first time he appeared in a comic book since Marvel Shadow and Light, which that came out right after the cancellation of Blade's short-lived title, Blade Vampire Hunter. Now, for some reason, that Blade trade I reviewed did not include this issue here for some reason. I'm not sure why. And fun fact, the writer of this issue is one of his co-creators, Marv Wolfman. Yes, I believe this is the first time Blade has ever teamed up with Spider-Man. Yep. So yeah, it's basically Blade with Spider-Man for an issue, with Tom Durank on the artwork. It's mostly to put Spider-Man dealing with more with vampires. I mean, the only vampire he's ever met is freaking Dracula. Of course, yeah, he deals with Michael Morbius, yes, but yeah, this is probably the first time they have much of a encounter with each other. I do have a theory of why this issue happened. The reason? Because Blade appeared on Spider-Man the Animated Series, so why not have a team in the comics? Why not? Yeah. And this comic itself was released in January of 1998. And this came right after Blade's cancellation of his short-lived title. Yep. His very next appearance would be in a Blade one-shot. Yep. Actuality, yeah, it was a Blade volume number 1. And then you had the short-lived Blade book, which I have discussed already. That was Crest of Blues. Really fun book. Nothing really wrong here, per se. Yeah, just deal with a vampire for an issue. And that's it. Now, the Gambit issue is about to discuss here. Gambit is basically just Blade just guest starring in this book. Now, unlike Spider-Man, who has not much time with it, now, this is probably the first time Gambit's ever met Blade. This is written by Tim Season, and the artwork is done by Steve Sarus. Yep. And you have Blade here drawn like the way he appeared in the movie. Yes. Now, another reason why Blade appeared in that comic book here is because basically of his movie that came out in around that same period of time. So, here, unlike in the case of Martin, where it was just him teaming with Spider-Man, this is a guest star issue. Coming right after the cancellation of Blade Volume 2. Well, technically it's Blade Volume... Yeah. At the cancellation of his second ongoing series, he appeared in this very book here. And then he appeared in their book. Basically, with the Assassin's Guild, it's them team with the Assassin's Guild. A little bit of vampires, per se. Also, someone named the Executioner, who is McKinney X-Men Annual. Yeah, we deal with him in here. Really interesting idea, the fact Timothy had to team up each other. Now, next after this issue came his 2-part guest appearance in here for Spider-Man, which I've discussed already, so I'm moving on from that. Next thing to discuss is Blade Volume 4. Yep. Blade Volume 4. Which was released in 2002 as a promotion for Blade 2. Yep. Plus, love this cover. Now, as you see on the cover, it's published in the Max imprint. Yes, the only Blade comic published under this imprint. Yep, nothing else was. We have Steve Pogg on the artwork and Christopher Hines on the writing here. Yes. Now, you read this comic, and it reads like a basically sort of an adaptation. Let's see. I think he just wrote this comic. Yeah. So, mostly put in the case of this book in particular, it feels like a very loose, at least loosely inspired by the Blade movie. He works with a group known as the Seven, who appear in the very start of this book, and they only appear in this very book itself. Well, they appear in the first 5 issues. That's the weird thing about this book. The first 5 issues are self-contained stories. 6 is a standalone issue. Oh, we have Tim Brodsky do some of the artwork here. He's really good artist. In the case of final issue of the book, this is really weird. You have Gregory Holmes in the artwork, and it's a standalone issue. You're thinking, really? Yes, really. It's mostly with Blade dealing with a group of, basically with a vampire out in the middle of nowhere. That is mostly put exactly what this is, over in Philadelphia. Yeah. Well, the first 5 issues took place in New York, and the story itself is basically like on the cover, you can tell, yeah, that's Wesley Snipes. Based on the tattoos, the muscles. Yeah, it's like the artist of this book really wanted to basically put him in the book. Now, of all these issues, the last issue is basically like, yeah, that's clearly Wesley Snipes basically being drawn in the book. Yeah, and this book, because it's Max, oh yeah, we get gore, we get a little bit of violence here, but lots of nudity and swearing. Yes. Is this a bad Blade book? No, it is not. It's actually quite interesting. I like the fact we were inspired by the movie. I mean, this book is not an adaptation of Blade 2. Nope, it is not. It probably was released as a promotional piece for that movie. But after this book came out, we didn't have a Blade book released for 4 freaking years. But the Blade itself, it's just really good. Yeah, mostly put it's him versus a woman named Queen Kala, who's this rule of it's basically dealing with these people known as Tarks, subspecies of vampires, which you can tell by their appearance they're based upon new vampire that we're seeing Blade 2. Yeah, based upon the Reapers from Blade 2. Which, fun fact, after this comic, they appeared in 4 one-shots afterwards. In The Death of Dracula #1 and the Unforgiven one-shots. Yep. So yeah, basically, the writer Christopher Hines is taking, like I mentioned, a lot of inspiration from the movie. Now, I believe Tim Broadstreet does pretty much all the covers for this book. I think he does. Yes, I believe he does do the cover artwork for all 6 issues. Yes, he does. As a matter of fact, he was doing the covers of this book the same time the Punisher Volume 6 came out, aka the Punisher Max book. Yep, very realistic cover. I love them. Heck, he even did the adaptation for Blade 2. Yes, there's an adaptation of Blade 2. Yeah. But this book was actually not bad per se, but I love the whole idea of the fact there's a subspecies of vampires. Queen Kella, but look at her, she looks like a minor ripoff of the Xenomorphs. Ruckus himself, he reminds me a lot like, well, one of the covers here feature a character who looks like he was probably supposed to be the book's first Abraham Whistler, but yeah, he's just not in the book. But good book overall. Nothing bad here per se. Sadly put, like I mentioned, the Turks only appear again in like some one-shots that came after this one. Next time I see Blade will be in the Tomb of Dracula Volume 4 miniseries. Yes, it was the last known comic published for Tomb of Dracula. Yep, that book is next to discuss here. Along with appearance of Marvel Team Up Volume 8. Now, I've already discussed his Black Panther issues already, so I'm not going to discuss. That was the original, I think, the original Holland issues. So, the next time I talk about Blade will be To a Dracula Volume 4. Yep, that's mostly about exactly what's coming next here. Yep, but yeah, that's a particular view. Next up, probably in our Comic Corner, okay? Next video. Bye.